What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we'll be going over getters and setters in Python. In our last video in this series, we talked about encapsulation and protecting our data, and we did that by creating protected and private variables. We may have noticed that we were unable to access the private variables outside of the class. However, we would like a way for our users to be able to access these variables, and we use getters and setters for that. Let's go to this in more detail. So a huge reason why we use getters and setters is to maintain our code. Imagine that we create our class and all of our variables are public, all of our instance variables are public. Well, people are going to use this class and they're going to treat the variables and use the variables as if they're public. For example, in the student class, self.grade is public. So what we can do is, if we wanted to use self.grade, we'll just print student1.grade. Okay, and it will say that student 1 is in the 12th grade. But imagine for some reason we wanted to change our code so that self.grade is now private. So if we did that, well, now all of a sudden everybody that's using student 1 that was using the class before, they can't access self.grade anymore because it's private now. So if I try to do this, it says student has no object attribute grade. Even if I tried to do the double underscore, it wouldn't work. Okay, so they now have no access to the grade variable, and their entire program is broken. So this is why we use getters and setters. So the purpose of getters and setters is so that they can access this private variable without changing their code. So they can do this or something similar to this, and it wouldn't change. Okay, so let's actually create a getter and a setter. So to create a getter, we're going to use a decorator similar to how we did the class and static method. We're going to use a decorator, and this is going to be called property. Okay, so the decorator is called property, and now we define a function, and this function is going to be, so we made this variable private, right? Before it was private, it was called self.grade. So we want the name of the getter to be the name of the instance variable. Okay, so the name of the getter is grade, and it's going to take the argument self, just like a regular instance method. Okay, and all we're going to do is we're going to return self dot underscore grade. So the variable is private now. Okay, so we're just returning the instance variable. So if we think about this, the reason why we're naming this grade is because when the user accesses the variable, this is what they're going to put. It's going to return underscore grade, but they're going to put they're just going to put grade because this is what they were using before. They would have typed in, if this was public, they would have typed in this student1.grade. So if we change it to private, we still want them to type student1.grade. So that's why the name of the decorator is grade and not underscore grade. Okay, now to define a setter, we're going to do another decorator. It's going to be at and then the name of the function of the getter. So the name of the function of the getter is grade. Okay, so we're going to do at grade and then dot setter. Okay, so that's the syntax for this statement: at the name of the function of the getter, dot, and then setter. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to define a function that is the same name as the getter. So I know I said that method overloading wasn't possible. This is the exception in Python. This is method overloading. We're creating the grade name, the name of the function as grade, and we're going to do self as an argument, and then an extra parameter, which is going to be what we want to set the grade to. So let's try this. And all we're going to do is we're going to do self dot underscore grade equals num. So the value of the private instance variable is equal to this value that we put when we set the number. So let's try this out. So notice that self dot underscore grade is private. If we try and run this is actually going to work now. And the reason this works is because basically, if we look at this even further, grade basically what we're doing is we're replacing self.__grade with this grade. So grade is a property, which means that we can use this dot operator on it. So we can use dot grade on it. Okay? So all we're doing is we're returning the value of self.__grade. We're getting that value. That's why it's called a getter. But we're redefining it as grade. Okay? So that's why we're able to use this dot grade here. And it's the same syntax that we would use if grade was public. And that's exactly what we want. So I wouldn't have to change this even if I change the variable from public to private. Okay? And now let's try and access this. Let's try to use this setter. So we printed the grade. Now let's change student1.grade. Let's say he went down a grade for some reason. So he's in 11th grade. Okay? And now let's print student1.grade again. So now we're setting it and it's 11. So even though it's private, we're still able to set the grade to whatever we want. Okay, and we just did that by saying that the private variable self.__grade is equal to the value that we set here. Okay, so that's getters and setters. I hope you understood this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next one. Take it easy.